Feeling numb towards my 22F boyfriend, 23M, after he yelled at me. Yesterday my boyfriend and I were arguing over something small on text and he called me and completely went off on me for 5 minutes straight, yelling at the top of his lungs. We have had issues with him yelling 2 times before and he knows it's a strong boundary for me. I was crying so I wasn't talking, and he knew I was crying but just kept yelling. When we got off the phone I felt sick to my stomach and had anxiety in my chest from the yelling. I've seen him twice since then, and when I look at him I feel nothing. I don't feel anger or happiness or love, I just feel numb. Like he's a random person to me. We have talked about it and he says sorry but I should understand because he's under a lot of stress. I don't know if this feeling is going to go away and I can get those feelings back or if I should just call it quits now. If anyone has experience with this or advice please let me know. We have only been together for 3 months. Too long, didn't read. Boyfriend yelled at me and now I have no feelings towards him. You've been dating him 3 months, and he's screamed at you 3 times. When you talked to him about it, he did not say he would adjust his behavior. He said this is what he does when he is stressed and that you need to just deal with it. Unless you want to live the rest of your life with your partner screaming at you until you cry every time he gets stressed, you should walk away. This is your gut telling you that you aren't safe with this person. Your body is telling you that you can't trust them because they may hurt you again. If a stranger yelled at you like that, would you continue to see that person? If your friend yells at you like that, are you trying to see them again? So why does he get to yell at you like that? Put yourself first. Trust your gut. If he loved you, he wouldn't yell like that. Sounds like you're done with him. He's shown you who he can be and he's no longer the same person he was to you anymore. Plus he hurt you and it doesn't even sound like he cares. Calling someone just to scream at them for 5 minutes straight isn't a healthy way to process anger, and if he doesn't see an issue with it or think it's something that needs fixing then he's not worth your energy. Sounds like it's time to move on. You've been together for 3 months and he's pushed your strong boundary 3 times already. I don't see it getting better. I have a lot of dating experience and my current relationship is 4 years, soon to be 5. He has never yelled at me, not even so much as raised his voice. No one I've ever dated has ever yelled at me. Please stop dating this person. I think it's time to call him dad. Need ideas. Update. Thank you all so much for the tremendous amount of love and response. I've been busy with my mom's care but I will update/respond soon. Heart. I want a creative way to announce to my stepfather that I feel he's earned the title of dad. When I was 23, my father suddenly died. He was sick the majority of my life, and had been married to my mother for 28 years. They were high school sweethearts. When I was 25, my mother started dating a wonderful man. He was a divorcee, and had stepchildren who were over 18 before. One day, he took me and my elder brother out to lunch with plans to go to the movies afterward. I believe he wanted to take us somewhere fancy, but my brother and I opted for a practical meal at Subway. During our meal, he told us that he never intended to replace our father, but that he loved our mother and wanted to propose to her, but he wanted to know how we felt first. We were both agreed, and we told our stepfather Tubi that we wanted to skip the movies and help him shop for a ring. He did tell us that he never expected us to call him dad either. I'm 37 now, and they've been together for 12 years. Not married yet, but they're happy and that's all I care about. Yesterday, my mother suffered a serious fall and if my stepfather hadn't been there neither would my mom today. She has a broken neck and ribs. If not for his quick action and military medical training, my mom might have been paralyzed or lost her life. Since they are not married, the hospital was not giving him much information about my mom's condition. He was beside himself with worry, and when I contacted him he was in tears. I leapt into action to get him information about my mother's condition and notified the hospital that he was not only was he her fiancé, but the one who called 911 and the one who started first aid. He even refused the first responder, a cop, in his demand to move my mother. Which I can't believe the cop actually suggested. First aid 101 is to never move a person who has fallen. but I digress. The nurses started answering his questions and he even was able to see her in the hospital last night after waiting for 12 hours anxiously, not knowing what was happening with her. He called me on his way to see her and vented his frustration to me, letting slip that if not for my daughter, I was deeply touched. Calling my stepfather dad is something I've debated doing for about 3 years. I feel like I'm ready to call him dad. We live thousands of miles apart in separate states, and especially with COVID, it's not something I can tell him in person. Too long didn't read. I would love some creative ways to tell him I want to call him dad, to show him how I feel. I think it's time. Are there any stepdads out there who can help me find a meaningful way to mark this milestone in my relationship with my dad? Send him one of those cliché mugs that little kids get their dads. Edit, there's one online that says best bonus dad ever. Pretty sweet. Wait till he says I'm hungry and reply with, "Hi hungry, can I call you dad?" Hi. First of all, your stepfather sounds like an amazing guy. How lucky your family is to have him. Personally, I recommend you send a letter or card so that he can always keep and cherish the first time you called him dad, instead of only keeping it in his memory, you know. Good luck! Exclamation mark. Send him a card and start it off with, "Dear Dad," and express your gratitude to him. Sounds like an awesome parent and God bless that your mother is okay. My 17 years old niece just wrote about today I fucked up a letter to her stepdad, asking him to be her dad. She went through all the things he does for her, and how she hates when people refer to him as her stepdad because in her eyes he is her father. Made him, and everyone else, cry. It was honest and from the heart. Maybe something like that. My boyfriend's gaming habit is making me less attracted to him and it's impacting our relationship. My 23F boyfriend, 24 meters, have been together for 4 years, and we've lived together for about 8 months. I always knew he liked gaming, but he never really did it when we were hanging out, so I didn't know the extent of his habit until we moved in together. I don't really like video games, but I'll dabble here and there. I own a Switch, but I don't play that often. I bought it thinking I could get into gaming and it would be something we would have in common, but I just generally don't enjoy gaming, and I'm not very good at it. He also has said he isn't really interested in playing with me, which is fine. The games that work with my skill ability are not what he would want to do. I get that. But he spends all of his free time gaming. That is not a joke. He doesn't watch TV or movies, he doesn't lay around. If he is not working, he is playing games. When we first moved in together and I noticed how much time he spent gaming, I asked him to spend a little bit more time with me because literally the only time he spent interacting with me was during meals. He got defensive and acted like I was trying to get between him and his friends, and basically told me that it's not his fault that I'm bored and I need to find something to do on my own. I thought it was something I could live with. Everyone has their interests and hobbies, but I honestly feel like this is excessive. He only spends time with me when I ask, and as soon as we are done doing whatever thing, watching an episode, doing a craft, whatever, he immediately goes back to playing his games. To me, it's just not attractive. I'm not making fun of him or trying to be mean, I just honestly don't find that type of behavior / interest / activity attractive. It's taking its toll on our relationship. We rarely spend time together, and when we do, I'm not really interested in any of what he wants to talk about. Things that I probably would have found funny about him before just annoy me now. I guess my question is, how can I bring back the spark when he's so committed to something I don't find attractive? I don't want to break up, but I don't know if things can ever be the same as they were before we moved in together. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend games all the time and it's causing me to be less interested in him and the relationship. How do I bring the spark back? When you started living with him, you discovered what he's really like. It doesn't sound as if he wants to change. You could move out and see whether your relationship recovers the spark you remember, since moving in is when things changed for you. I know 4 years is a long time, but you'd probably be happier with someone who enjoyed spending some free time with you, and that you could imagine living with long term. Almost every day on here there's someone with a boyfriend or husband who plays games all the time, doesn't do chores, and doesn't put any effort into the relationship. Sometimes for years. The non-gamer is always desperately unhappy. It's not worth it. Thought experiment, replace the activity with literally any other activity. My boyfriend spends literally all of his time doing insert activity here and gets defensive when I want to spend time. Carrot, that's not a cool situation no matter if he's playing games, reading, watching porn, hiking, etc. Sounds more like he's addicted to it than just enjoying it. I spend a lot of time making music, it's my career. If my girlfriend wants to spend time together, my studio will always be there later when she falls asleep, or when she's at work. You need to have a healthy relationship with your hobbies/work, and know when it's time to do something else too. You can't bring back the spark. That's not for you to do alone. This is something you would have to do together, and it seems like he frankly isn't interested in that. It might be that you two just aren't compatible anymore, but you should have one more serious, frank conversation about what you each need from the relationship, to see if there's common ground. If he gets angry and defensive and won't discuss it, then, well, that's an answer too.
Untitled. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157